Good evening, everyone. August 20th, 2025. Thank you for being part of the Lakeville Freetown School Committee meeting. We are going to take a roll call vote to go into executive session for reason number 2, strategy with respect to non-union negotiations or to conduct collective bargaining sessions with non-union personnel. And also reason number 3, strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting might have detrimental effect. Collective bargaining may also be conducted MTA negotiations.
Jen Blum,
Here.
Steve Sylvia,
Here.
Bob Clark.
Yes.
Courtney Brightman. Here. Carolina is Crystal Ing.
Here.
Melinda Richards.
Here.
Tim Emery.
Here.
Are the here's yeses to go into executive session?
Translation, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Here equals yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we will take a short few minutes here and go into executive session.
And we're going to be returning to.
And we'll be returning to open session.
Yes, but what I'm thinking now is.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience while we were in executive session. I'd like to note for the minutes that Carolina Hernandez did come on in at 6:03 p.m. I'd like to call order to this meeting Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. At the table, we have Ms. Kelly Steele, Director of Student Services, Mr. Jack Higgins, Finance Director, Ms. Terry Fleming, Director of Curriculum and Assessment, and Interim Superintendent, Dr. Barbara Starkey. Tonight, we have LakeCAM here with us. Is there anyone else recording the meeting? Thank you, Sam. And if you would all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to our third agenda item, public input. Is there anyone here tonight for public input? Okay, if you could all just please sign in at the sign-in sheet, state your name and your town, please.
Hi, my name is Margaret French from Freetown. I had a couple of questions about the pool subcommittee, and it kind of opened up some other questions. I believe that the committee is inappropriate. It was not formed the way it should have been. The members should have been appointed by the school committee. Each member then go to their respective town clerk and get sworn in. I heard that there was a meeting last week. That meeting would have been invalid if the committee had not been set up correctly. So I think that meeting needs to be redone after the committee is set up correctly.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Hecht. I am a resident of Lakeville. I also had 4 kids in or have been in the school system, so thank you for all you do. But tonight I'm here in the capacity of a Girl Scout troop leader, and we have about 100 girls throughout Freetown and Lakeville that are Girl Scouts. I have the opportunity to have about 35 of them in my 2 troops, and this here is a small but mighty representative group from Troop 77318. So I'm aware of our time limit, although we do have several adults here. I'm going to ask them each to introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about what we're here to ask. So if you could share your first name and the grade you're going to go into.
My name is Emma, and I'm going into 3rd grade.
My name is Ellen, I'm going into 3rd grade.
My name is Emily, and I'm going into 3rd grade.
Great. So part of Girl Scouts includes a lot of community service. And the mission of Girl Scouts is to build girls of confidence, courage, and character that make the world a better place. So the community service project that they spent so much time on last year was to help what?
Monarch butterflies.
And why do we want to help monarch butterflies?
They're endangered.
Great. So they came up with not just a single thing to do, but a three-part plan that they worked very hard to execute. So one part, they made
Seed bombs.
over 300 of these, and we'll give you each one, including everyone in the audience, before we go. But why did we make seed bombs?
To plant
To help the monarch butterflies to have more food.
Yes, so food for the butterflies. They also made
bookmarks.
over 300 of these that they've been giving out to the libraries and other school groups. And what do we hope the bookmarks do?
Make people learn more about butterflies.
Yes, absolutely. Learn more about butterflies and how to save them. But the pinnacle part of their project was what?
Making butterfly houses.
Now, we're not at the age yet that we can actually build the houses, so we enlisted the help of both Bristol, Plymouth, and Old Colony Votech wood shopping groups. And they were kind enough to actually construct them for us. And so here you see two of those. Hi, Quinn, come on over. And we have a question for you all about these butterfly houses. What do we want the school committee to approve for us?
Can we put a butterfly house in the school?
Yep. So we'd like permission to donate and install a butterfly house. As you can see, they're very simple, designs that are appropriate for public consumption and appropriate for children. So we'd like permission to install one at each of the schools in Freetown and Lakeville. Of note, back in March, we did get Freetown Board of Selectmen approval for several Freetown properties that we've been installing throughout the summer. And Lakeville Parks Department has also been a big advocate of ours. So thank you for your consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will, I'll make sure that is on the September agenda for a vote.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And thank you. Your mission of community
Yeah.
service and building strong leaders and confident leaders is great, and your efforts are outstanding. So thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support.
Great job, girls. Is there anyone else here for public participation or public input? Sorry, going back. Okay, moving on to reports and presentations. I'm going to start off. On August 1st, Dr. Starkey sent out a letter to both of the town administrators, both in Freetown and Lakeville, looking for a representative to be a silent seat at negotiations, the collective bargaining. And tonight, I believe we have representatives from each. So we are going to accept them tonight. Trevor was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he couldn't, so he was going to nominate Carlos Lopes, which we will accept for Freetown. And Chris, I'm assuming that you are Lakeville. Okay, awesome. So we accept you both as silent partners at the table for collective bargaining. Thank you very much. Moving on. In an effort to bring some unity to this committee, I've been working with MASC over the last few months here, and we've come up with a retreat/training for all committee members. I sent out some dates that Sean from MASC sent me yesterday. So far, I've heard from everyone, I think, except Carolina and Crystal and Steve, on which dates will be best for you. So this is going to, basically the topics that we're going to talk about are going to be the role of school committee and interim superintendent, the school committee operations and professional relationships, and goal setting. So as soon as you guys get over to me, God bless, when your availability is for the I believe it's 3 dates that I sent over, all being at 6 p.m., we can get that scheduled and get them in here so we can start this.
I like this idea. I am available. I meant to hit reply all on Tim's. There is a long weekend date. I
There
thought.
is. Yep.
Yeah, so just not that.
I'm surprised they gave us that
I
long
know.
weekend date, too.
So I just.
I'm not sure if he realized that
Not
when he
that
threw
one.
that out. Okay. So are you
And I
available for
can
any
make
other
them all
ones?
work.
Okay, perfect. So then I'll just need Crystal, what dates you're available, and Carolina, what dates are available, and we'll get that set up, okay?
I don't know if I'm going to be available. I
Okay.
have trainings for
Okay.
other things, so
Okay.
I don't know if I can.
Okay, so moving on. Dr. Starkey?
Okay, ARHS student representative, we don't have a student with us tonight, school is not in session, but our two new students will be Cam Poirier from grade 12 and Molly McCarthy from grade 12, and they will be present at the next meeting and all subsequent meetings. Questions? All right, I'm going to move right along. Tonight, I'm really happy to make a recognition to Wendy Gregory, who is a bus driver for First Student. Wendy drives bus 16. She's not here with us this evening, but I do have a picture of her behind me. She drives bus 16 for Freetown-Lakeville for First Student. She participated in the 5th annual First Student Connecticut Bus Rodeo, an event that brings together top drivers from all across New England. And Wendy took first place. She's the first time a Freetown-Lakeville driver has won. She is now known as the Grand Champion. So I am sharing the excitement with you all, and also sharing with you that Robbie Goggins and Ken Resendes of First Student wanted you to know that they are incredibly proud to share that Wendy placed first overall, earning the Grand Champion title. She represented Freetown-Lakeville with outstanding skill, professionalism, and pride, and truly stood out among a very competitive group. And then, as it's a little bit of a long story here, but part of the award ceremony, there was a miscalculation, and at the actual event, they didn't acknowledge Wendy as the grand champion. So we did it here when the bus drivers came back for orientation, and she received her trophy. You can see it pictured behind me. So congratulations to Wendy for her victory there.
Bravo. Is there footage on YouTube or
I don't know, but I can find out.
ESPN?
The bus rodeo. I know Miss Wendy from her past experience on bus 14, and she's a heck of a bus driver. She's
there
great.
you go.
So
Well, she is
congratulations, Miss Wendy.
Now the grand champion.
She's the grand
We're
champion.
lucky to have her.
Yeah.
Moving right along, later on this evening, you'll be asked to vote to accept a donation. So the Real Estate Collaborative of Lakeville, owned by Monica Donnelly, is hosting an event tomorrow night. It's an ice cream truck social on the grounds of their business. And the deal is, if you bring a school supply, you get an ice cream. And their intention is to donate the school supplies to the Freetown-Lakeville Regional School District. So I don't have a list of supplies yet because the event is tomorrow night. But knowing that we don't have a meeting coming up until September, and knowing that the supplies might be best used or given out at the beginning of the school year, I was hoping that you would accept the donation later on when we do votes tonight.
Do we have a time for that?
It is from 4 to 5 p.m. And the
picking you up?
location is 290 Bedford Street, Lakeville.
Bob's picking us all up.
All right. Ice cream it is. If there are no questions, I'll move along.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move right along. When we met on when the committee met on June 11th, we took a look at all of the handbooks, and you approved our school handbooks. A question came up when we were hearing the handbooks for Freetown Elementary and Assawamsett Elementary. There was a discrepancy in the way bus conduct was being handled. And the question came up about, are the things the same in the school handbooks? And I indicated to you at that time, one of the projects we were undertaking was an alignment of the handbooks. So this summer, Principal Ward and Principal Penault and I worked together and completely updated the two handbooks to make sure that they're fully aligned. You're making editorial, some edits and some formatting changes. We inserted a table of contents, and then the two principals came to an agreement about how to handle bus conduct and to put a more general statement in the handbooks regarding bus conduct. That statement reads, a range of consequences, including removal from the bus, may result if repeated unsafe and inappropriate behavior occurs. So it gives each of the principals latitude to handle things on a case-by-case basis, but also informs the community that if a situation is repeated and unsafe, a student could be removed from the bus. So given that that is a change to something that you had already voted on, later on tonight, we'd be looking for you to vote to approve the updated, unified AES and FES handbook. If you have any questions about that, I'm happy to take those right now.
Not a question, just a comment that I'm happy to see it consolidated in standard between the two schools. Elementary level.
Thank you. I'm happy to move on if there's no other questions. Okay. The next topic is our SRO agreements. Both SRO agreements, the one with Freetown and the one with Lakeville, are agreements in full force and effect. So once they were signed, they remain in full force and in effect until one of the parties wants to leave the agreement or one of the parties would like to make a change in that agreement. However, in both of those agreements, necessitates an annual review. So both Chief Rose and Chief Perkins shared with me our SRO agreements, asking for no changes. We didn't ask for any changes either. So given that it's been our practice here in the district to renew the agreements, I did that. I signed both of those agreements. So at FES, we will continue to have Officer Medeiros in the building 3 days a week over at FES. And we will continue to have Officer Bartholomew attending to all of our Lakeville schools 5 days a week.
Perfect. Yeah, and I would just comment that I see Officer Medeiros, he likes what he's doing, and the kids love him. So that's a good thing that he's real, so to speak, and he does a good job.
Thank you. And we appreciate Chief Rose for continuing to support that.
There's been a lot of positive feedback from parents,
Yeah.
the community in Freetown.
If there are no questions, I'll move right along. Next topic on the agenda is the interim superintendent goals. You do have in your packet the goals that I'm presenting to you this evening. You might remember back on June 5th, the evaluation subcommittee met. Resultant from that meeting was an understanding that I would set 2 to 3 goals to be shared this evening, and for my progress on these goals to be taken into consideration during both my formative and my summative evaluation. The formative evaluation would take place in November of 2025, and the summative evaluation in March of 2026. So the 3 goals I'm presenting to you tonight are, by March of 2026, I will lead the development of a multi-year, 3-year budget projection process that aligns FLRSD resources with strategic priorities, supports long-range planning, and improves transparency and decision-making for stakeholders. And we've set to task on that already, leaning very heavily on Mr. Higgins and using some of the processes he had already put in place last year in building a budget, and then including a new mechanism in which we will gain an inventory of all of our resources here in the district, non-personnel resources for sure, so that we can build out a budget projection. So just using one thing as an example, you often have renewals on online textbooks, right? And those come in cycles, 3 years, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 6 years. And if we don't have a way of documenting that, that's an expense that can sneak up on you. So we've created a resource spreadsheet, for lack of a better way to say it, so that we can project out more accurately for budgets. My second goal is that I will lead a comprehensive review and improvement of FLRSD's human resources systems to ensure clear, equitable, and efficient hiring, onboarding, evaluation, and personnel management processes aligned with district goals and legal requirements. So from stem to stern, the way we post for a position looking to employ people in the district, all the way to how we might separate with an employee who's retiring, all of the facets of human resources. At times in a district where you have a single person who's responsible for a job, and that single person holds that position for a long time and then moves on, some of those really routine practices don't get carried over when that seat changes. So I'd like to take a look at those processes, codify the things we do well, update the things that we do not, and put together a resource guide so that people coming along can just simply pick up when they take a role. And so that when we onboard folks in the district, they have a really good human resource experience, right? Their experience with human resources here is commensurate with their experience teaching and the experience they have meeting everyone in the community. So we won't have any gaps in service there to our employees. And then my third goal is to implement and sustain a consistent schedule of school and classroom visits across all grade levels, pre-K to 18 plus, to deepen instructional awareness, to foster relationships of trust with educators, students, and families, and to strengthen district-wide instructional coherence and culture. You might recall, in the spring, I set the really lofty goal of trying to get into every single classroom in between my onboarding and my exit. I didn't make it to every single classroom, but I was more than 100 by the end of the year, spending 20 minutes or more in each classroom, engaging with the students and with the teachers. It was an excellent experience, all around. It helped to connect me with our students and our staff and our community, and I think it put some transparency into my role, and I'd like to continue to do that. It's going to help me have a better understanding of the things that we do really well here in the district, in the areas where we might need a little bit more support. It's going to empower me to be able to sit here and speak more eloquently when we're advocating for budget needs, certainly, for the district, and it's going to keep me connected to the kids, and that's why we're here.
Thank you.
Any questions about those goals?
Go ahead, Sue.
I would just say I appreciate your work on this and the three goal topics. You nailed it in terms of what at least I'm looking for on the committee, but also the alignment to the rubric with the instructional leadership, the management and operations, and the community engagement piece. I think you've made it easy for the committee to collect evidence, view evidence, and you've covered everything. So I appreciate your effort and work on this.
Thank you.
And your thoughtfulness, a lot of it. Thank you.
I'd just like to say, I love the idea of a 3-year budget projection. Because I feel like I'm spinning my wheels sometimes looking at the budget and how we're gonna afford things, and it would just be nice to have something to look at to make sure. Great idea. I told you that earlier. I just want to say it in open session that I think these goals are excellent, but I really like the multi-year budget.
Thank you. And I'll just close the part about goals with, when a superintendent sets their goals, they work, but it's the people who sit with them that do the work as well. So the goals represent, well beyond me, they represent the work of the people in central office. And when you think about my third goal and getting into classrooms, that represents what the teachers are doing, right? And it represents everything that's happening here in the district. So I'm very hopeful that I am personally successful, but I certainly believe that the people sitting at this table with me and the people who work diligently in this district to bring good education to our students will be successful.
Perfect ending.
All right. And then moving right along, the last topic I have this evening is enrollment, and I'm just going to ask Renee if I could steal this for a second, because I'd like to be able to show you some things. One thing that we've been talking about in central office, and this also ties into budgeting and planning for the district, is our enrollment, and coming to understand some of our current enrollment circumstances and some of the trends that we might be seeing. This data is not in your packet because I haven't turned it into something that's a little more tangible, something that's easier to consume. But the first tab on this spreadsheet speaks to enrollment in all of our local districts. And if you just draw your attention to the very last column, column I, you see lots of red, right? So enrollment in general is down in Massachusetts, period. And then when we hone it down to our area, enrollment seems to be down in many local districts, excepting larger communities and vocational education. We could all sit here and talk about why that's happening, but I just think we need to acknowledge that we have seen a bit of a decline in enrollment, but it's not commensurate, but it is also, there's been a decline in enrollment in other locations around us. Another thing that I've started to collect here, and we're working in central office, is to look at our enrollment data across a 5-year period. So this spreadsheet has tabs at the bottom. I'm just going to take you to the year 24-25, so you can take a look at that. The rest
Can you make that
I
bigger,
sure can.
please? Thank
Yep,
you.
I can make that bigger, and
I
I can
can't see
make it bigger, and then I can provide it to you so that you can actually take a look at it. But anyway, so this is 1 year, for example. So this is our enrollment, what did I collect, 24 to 25. So we simply went straight across with the data. It's monthly and by grade, so that we have not had the opportunity to do this yet, but we can go back and take a look at the data and see if we have students entering or exiting the district on a monthly basis. so that we can see if there are any patterns or trends. I'm not saying there are any, but there are fluctuations in attendance as a year occurs. So what is happening and what does that mean? Another tab at the bottom here, this gives you an example of some of the data we're going to be looking at. So this is, if you look at my column C here, column C is our enrollment for this year. Column B is our enrollment in that grade for the previous year, so that we can track to see if we are staying static or gaining students or losing students year over year. So this is 1 year as an example. So if you look at column D, you can see the data we're finding. So from last year to this year, end of last year to the start of this school year, the green numbers are increases. So for example, we have a 10-student increase in 12th grade from the way we ended 12th grade last year to the way we start 12th grade this year. But where you look at something like 6th grade, we've got a 10-student drop from 5th grade to 6th grade. That's different. So that's something we need to look into. Is there something in particular occurring between 5th and 6th grade? Or is that a natural thing that may happen? It's an opportunity to move to a different type of education for middle school, perhaps. Maybe that's the point at which, I can speak in my personal life, it was the point at which my parents decided I was moving out of public education into Catholic education. It's a transition point, right? Is that what that means? But it's worth looking at. And then we look at just some other data here at the bottom, and again, I don't want to spend too much time on it tonight because we haven't spent a tremendous amount of time on it. But you look at something like kindergarten enrollment, and you think about a kindergarten class tracking all the way up to 12th grade, and how the number of students coming into kindergarten will impact you all the way across, right, to year 13, which would be 12th grade. So in 2021, we had 207 kindergartners. If you look down at 23, 24, we hit a low of 172. A lot less 5-year-olds coming in. And then you look over the past 2 years and our number is rising again. And that makes sense I think it will make sense when we go back to look at some of the other data and we're looking at those grades going across and we're saying all of a sudden we've got a year here where it looks like our enrollment has dipped quite a bit, and what really happened is we took in a smaller kindergarten class. Again, all data that we don't know much about, but that we're collecting so that we can look at. A few more tabs here just to move along. We've pulled a school attending report. So this report tells us where our students living in Freetown and Lakeville who don't attend our schools, where they go. So this is some valuable information to us, where they go and how many of them are going. So we can look and see what this means to us. And then our last tab here is homeschool. We have a homeschool population in the district. We currently, I think it's 79 students.
We have 35 families. That represents 79 students.
79 students. So I just became curious, and I think we became curious here, is what does that number mean in comparison to the district? So we actually cast the question out to the entire state just to see what that would look like. And again, we haven't had a tremendous amount of time to look at the data, but we will. What does that mean? And homeschool is a funny number to track in the sense that it's incumbent upon the district and the parents to communicate about homeschool. It's a little bit looser of a process at times, so it can be difficult to track homeschool families. But we'll dig in here and see what we can learn about it. So I just wanted you to know that we're attentive to enrollment in the district. What are our next steps? Analyze this data we have. Perhaps get more, right? We've got 5 years worth. We could pull 10 years worth and see what that tells us. 2 other measures we're considering taking are to formulate an entrance and exit survey for families. So if you're exiting the district, help us understand why. If there's things we can do to improve that would have kept you here, we'd like to hear that. And if the reason you're exiting the district is something that we don't have any control over, then it's good to know that too. And the same thing with entrance, because we do have a number of students who join us for school choice. Over the past few days, I can't tell you how many enrollments have come in from property sales in Lakeville in particular. Took in 5 over the past 2 days, 4 in Lakeville and 1 in Freetown. So even those numbers that you're looking at are just probably a day outdated. So that's 5 additional families coming in. 1, I think, had 2 children. So anyways, I'd like you to stay tuned regarding enrollment, and we look forward to giving you updates, each month or every other month at least here at school committee, so you can hear that. And then the last measure regarding enrollment is our pursuit of Acushnet. We're very interested.
Can I just say this? I just want to say thank you for taking my SMART goal that I gave to you guys, and you're actually running with it. So I also made up an exit interview, if you want to take that exit interview survey.
I'd like you to share it with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. So as I said, the last measure is the pursuit of Acushnet. We're looking to, hopefully entice Acushnet to send us their high school students. And that presentation is August 26th, which is next Tuesday night, the night before we open school here in the district, to our staff. And I'd like to already give a shout out to our high school folks who've been working on that. So Kaylin Desert, Jeff Gallant, Nick Pilla, Nicole Graff, and we have some students who are involved in the presentation. I don't want to say their names yet because I'm not exactly sure which students have signed on the dotted line to come help us present, but I'd like to acknowledge the work the tremendous work that they have done to really shine a light on all of the excellent things at Aponequid, with the intention of having Acushnet become part of our Laker Nation here in the district. And thank the school committee for the support of that, because it will certainly help us with enrollment.
I just have a question about that. For Acushnet, are we going to provide transportation?
So all of those pieces would be in the agreement. So from what I understand, we're making the presentation or the pitch, so to speak, next week, along with the other schools. And it's my understanding through their superintendent that the school committee would then reach out to discuss items like that would be in an agreement. We certainly wouldn't do anything or sign anything without working through the chair and the vice chair, who you identified at the meeting in the spring as people who would kind of help us to hammer out that agreement. So we can't answer that question
No.
yet.
I just thought of that, and then I also thought of money.
Yeah.
Because I know, are we going to get per student what we get here, or are we going to get,
So those things would remain to be seen.
Okay.
Tuition agreements are there are some commonalities, and then there are some fairly individual aspects to them. When you look at agreements that other towns have that are in the same types of circumstances. So at this juncture, I think we're looking at a blank slate.
Okay.
I can't speak for what Acushnet's looking for. We're right now just invited to the dance, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, but it could include things like transportation. And it would have to be, a tuition agreement would have to be based on something akin to a per pupil price point.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for me? Or Steve, did you have a question?
I did, just, you referred to one of the reports where it showed where other students are going.
School attending.
School attending report, and that comes from,
So we track that. All districts track school attending. It's
Yeah.
information that you ultimately provide to DESE.
Okay.
It's tough information to get, because what you're relying on is a school other than your own district to report to you that they've taken in one of your students.
Okay.
And that doesn't always happen. So someone like Allie Cassidy, who's our data person in the district, when we're putting together our school attending report, she reaches out to all the schools we already know, and then tries to cast a broader net. If we get let's say we get a release in guidance looking to send grades somewhere, that could be an indicator that a student has moved along. So she casts a wide net, and we rely on the schools to give us that information back. In the same way that if somebody from another district is attending our school, we have to supply that information out.
right, that's a lot of work, thank you for that. And
Yeah,
then,
well, we can thank Allie Cassidy for, certainly for amassing the school attending work, and she keeps all of this data on point for us. She's excellent.
great, and then just one other follow-up question on homeschooling. There's still a process we go through to approve the curriculum, and the timeline for that is in, right about now, or?
I'll turn that over to Terry.
Yeah, we're actually it actually is a process that starts sometime in May when I send out the please send your progress towards proficiency. Families start to send that, how's my student done over the course of the year? And then they send in their new education plans and requests for homeschooling for this coming year. Those kind of trickle in throughout the summer based on people's vacations. But even today I had a great conversation with a family who was on vacation, and they're like, we'll get it in, we're sending it in. So I'm currently working with 13 of our families that have not submitted their education plans for this year. But I'm pretty confident that they'll get those into me.
Great, well, thank you.
Yeah.
If there are no other questions, I'll turn things over to Terry.
I got one, not a question, but I saw that on the agenda, so I went online. There's a myriad of reasons all across the state why enrollment is dropping. I just jotted some of them down. COVID was a big one, because when homeschooling occurred, a lot of the parents liked the idea, especially in the lower grades, so they kept doing that. Financial reasons, especially in Freetown, I don't know about Lakeville, but there's a lot of property for sale. People are moving out, I don't know if it's because they can't afford it or what, but it's, a lot of people are waking up to the fact that a college degree in English or history doesn't pay as well as going to a vocational school and becoming an electrician or a plumber. So they're opting for vocational schools versus public schools. And lastly, families are having less children. So there's a ton of information on Massachusetts and nationwide. It's not a phenomenon that occurs here. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, in my discussions with MASC over the last few weeks, we talked about that as well, and it's all over Massachusetts.
Thank you, and thank you. Sometimes we get caught in the narrative of, we have an enrollment problem, or we're losing students, or students are making other choices, and I just want to make sure that when we're looking at it, we have data to support what we're talking about, right? And I thank you for identifying those things.
Okay, my turn? Okay. So I just have a few bullet points to talk through tonight. Our access results did come in, and I wanted to celebrate the fact that 25% of our English language learning students did exit the service part of the program, and they start their first year of progress monitoring, which means we go in and make sure that they are still able to, reach their capacity and potential in the classroom without having small group or one-on-one services from our English language educators. So that was exciting, and of our remaining students, 81% of them are scoring in what's called Tier B or C, which is a level 3, 4, or 5, which means they're right on the, in fact, 6 of them were just a smidge, just a tenth of a point away from exiting the program. So our English language educators are doing a phenomenal job of making sure that our students are getting those supports and becoming more independent learners and being able to be in our program for a short period of time versus by the time they get to grades, they're mostly exited, and the middle school is pretty much filled with our progress monitoring students. We have a lot of students that are in progress monitoring years, and we do progress monitor them for 5 years. And if they need more support, they can be pulled back in for some services and supports during that time frame. So kudos and compliments to Sandy Doe and Carolyn Westgate Gaspar and Marina Almeida for the work they're doing with our English language students. Another really exciting thing to me is we've had 31 new students register that have other languages spoken in their home. So that is fantastic. And there are new screening requirements, which requires us to screen based on 3 of the home language survey questions. So those screenings will be taking place in the first 2 weeks of school. And so I won't have updated numbers for you as far as where we are with our English language learners, but we are anticipating and excited to have all those new languages spoken. Portuguese and Spanish are still 2 of our highest, with Haitian Creole and Gujarati being in close 3rd and 4th. But we have our first Hmong family speakers. And so I just hope that I get to spend some time with the families and kids listening to their languages.
That's very cool.
Then grant allocations, I quickly did a summary of where we are for entitlement grants and competitive grants. And we are sitting nicely at the beginning of the year with $534,989 in grant funding. Title I, 2A, 3, and 4A all came in through federal funding. We are thankful for that because 2, 3, and 4 were iffy for a while. So those workbooks are being submitted. I'll be submitting those workbooks over the next 2 weeks. And then our competitive grants are the Civics Teaching and Learning Grant that brought in $32,000 for implementing investigating history, and then Career Connected Implementation and Innovative Career Pathways, leading the charge for building those career opportunities at the high school. And then Project Lead the Way at the middle school for $25,000. That's a 3-year implementation. And then our ongoing grant with ST Math, which is $27,000, and it offset funding a year. There have been about 8 grants that have been put out by the state for opportunities for us this year, and we only qualify for 2 of those. We are only pursuing 1 of those right now, and that is the MyCap Planning and Implementation Grant. It provides for us to submit for $14,000, $7,000 for the middle school and $7,000 for the high school to set up a scope and sequence for grades 6 through 12 to ensure that students have a structure to support their post-secondary education dreams. And that fits really nicely with our career pathways with Project Lead the Way. And so that I have to submit by the 29th. So that is one that I'm asking, that's a first read, but I'll be requesting that we are able to accept that grant, pending how well I write it, I think. And I did submit for our MIA grant, which is for snacks for our staff. That one's an annual one that goes in every year where we get to get healthy snacks for our staff. So that one is being submitted also. Any questions on grants? Great. And then Jumpstart was the joy of my summer. We had a wonderful staff, and I've listed them there on the screen for you, with 50 students participating grades 1st through 6th grade. And just to see the students every day smiling and getting in line and going into grays, whether it was sweltering hot or not. And the program itself focuses on having really small groups and a lot of hands-on learning. And I think that out of all of our students, even the older ones that have, like Mr. Bossio, if you have not met him, he subs in our district. He just loves working with those 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students and doing a lot of great activities. So shout outs to Megan and Norm for taking our older groups. 88% of the students saw an increase in their skills for reading and math, just short term. We do a pre-assessment and a post-assessment with them that's really quick. And then 91% of our students and families said they enjoyed their experience and would love to participate again if the funding continued. So as of now, the funding, I am hoping to budget for it in this Title II and 4 round.
Thank you, Terry.
Question? I don't have a question, but just a comment that U.S. News and World Report came out with the nationwide school ratings today. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to see it or not.
Not yet.
But I looked at it tonight, and when it comes to proficiency in math and English and college readiness, we're over Somerset, we're over Dighton-Rehoboth, we're over Middleborough, New Bedford, Fall River, Bridgewater, a little school in the woods. Must be doing something right. And the credit goes to the people that are home right now preparing for the start of school. So that's something you should be proud of.
Very
We
proud.
should be proud of.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Bob, for
Thank you for sharing.
looking that up. You had a lot of time on your hands.
At Dunkin' Donuts.
I know. Bob with a fact
You can share that kind of
today.
news anytime.
Yeah.
Doing his
Sorry.
research.
Yeah. We gotta talk to his wife, get our honey to-do list going here.
It never ends.
All right, Mr. Higgins, it's all you.
All right, the FY25 close is underway. We are moving along at around the pace that we were last year, which was pretty efficient. We are you can see there from our appropriated budget of $44,313,814. That's the appropriated general fund budget. The expenditures and encumbrances, these are the encumbrances that are carryover into the summer because of projects that maybe weren't able to be done by June 30th or items that we hadn't received yet. But you can see that we had a surplus remaining of $34.28 from the original appropriation. A full report on the excess and deficiency will be provided at the next meeting. The summer projects, we had several projects that we were looking to improve the campus and all of the buildings, as well as the safety in our buildings. We are in a we're entering into a three-phase project to migrate our fire suppression devices in the buildings on the campus. Over the last 5 years, starting in 2020, we upgraded the fire panels in each one of the buildings, and now the next phase is to upgrade those devices that will then speak to those panels. We're doing it in a three-phase project. The first phase was this summer, and that phase was a third of each one of the buildings on the campus. So each building has an upgrade. The old devices that haven't been changed, they still do speak to the panel, but we know that we're going to get better service, better performance from the new devices as we move forward. The elevators at Freetown-Lakeville Middle School and Freetown Elementary School both had identified repairs necessary, so we moved forward with repairs in the door hardware for both of those elevators. That has been done over the summer. Those repairs are underway. And then at the high school, we have some cleaning on the facade that we've identified. We spent a fair amount of time over the summer trying to identify the best way to do it. I really want to take my hat off to the facilities team who tackled it a number of different ways and identified that ultimately it was going to require someone outside of our skill set. So tomorrow, August 21st, we have an outside company coming in to do the wash and to remove essentially what we believe to be is like a lichen that's growing on the surface. So we're hoping to have good results from that. The pool engineering study took place on August 13th. The visit came in on the 13th. Mr. Goodwin, our facilities director, took them through, provided them with some of the historical background, some anecdotal historical background, as well as quite a bit of paperwork. We're expecting them to be requesting more and more information as they continue to go through that analysis phase. Mr. Goodwin will be providing that information through either my office or through his office in the coming weeks. I have an email out to the company asking for a timeline. I'd like to have a date, even if it's a soft date, on when that report will be in. The response I got from the engineer is that they subcontract this. They're using pool consultants for this, pool engineers, and that company that they use just recently had a cyber attack, so they're a little bit delayed in terms of their timeline. But I'm expecting a date by the end of next week in terms of when we should expect it. The FES boiler study, we certainly are thankful to the town of Freetown for their efforts in moving to replace the boilers at FES. The boilers at our FES are about as old as I am. They are in need of replacement. I know. There was a time when I could say that and it was not a big deal, but it certainly is now. So the boilers, and obviously from the perspective of efficient, the quality that and a newer boiler is going to be on demand, but the efficiency is going to increase quite a bit as well with new boiler system. So they've gone through the study process and they are already a quarter of the way through the report. We've gotten some updates from them on that. The domestic water grant, we've been awarded a grant for $100,000 from the Mass Department of Environmental Protection as part of their program to support small municipalities that provide their own drinking water, as we do here on the campus, as well as how we do at Freetown Elementary. We're a public water supplier as a result. So that grant will help us to make upgrades to our domestic water facility, including pumps and filtration. That's going to be from equipment here on the campus. The FES is actually something that we're looking into receiving a second grant if we can for some of the upgrades there as well. And the school committee will need to vote to accept that grant tonight. We received, as I shared with you, we were told that we were going to receive in the spring an earmark as a result of the supplemental budget, the Commonwealth supplemental budget, to appropriate funds, the 4% surtax, this is the millionaire's tax. We received $100,000 to make improvements to our campus. Those improvements will include the pool engineering study, as we have talked about in the spring, new uprates to the stadium. Again, we discussed at the June meeting. This will not only obviously improve for our football, but also for our lacrosse and for our soccer and for our field hockey, because those current uprights, the way that they're structured, they keep the field at a certain length, whereas the new uprights will have the curve, and therefore the field can be a little longer and match what is necessary for the soccer and field hockey and so forth. So we've received those, and we're expecting installation shortly. And the track improvements. So we have identified that our long jump and triple jump lanes were in disrepair and needed to be upgraded. Those were part of that as well. So we're looking forward to moving forward with those now that we have been awarded the money on the earmark. That doesn't require a vote, as I discovered, because it is in fact similar to Chapter 70 money. It is money coming from the state. So it doesn't, it's not a grant in the same way. Campus user fees, this is a first read. Well, it technically is a second read, but it was a long time ago that we spoke about it. It was last October that I first brought this, and it was really just to bring it to your attention that it was likely we were going to need to consider increasing the campus user fees. Because it was in October, many of the groups that were already renting the spaces here in our district probably had already budgeted and made their determinations and collected their fees. We didn't think it was, I think in that conversation, determined it wasn't worth increasing them at that time. Now we're in August. I think we're early enough to make that determination. This is a first read of this. I've shared with you the document that highlights the items that would be increased. Essentially, we're talking about an increase of a one-time event fees for any of our spaces by $10 per hour for any of the locations, and then increase continual use fees by $10 per participant. This would be outside sports organization that uses our gyms, let's say, for practice. The way that we structure it is they pay per participant for the season. We would be increasing their per participant rate by $10. Yes?
What is the current rate per person?
$10 less than what I've shared with you.
Great answer,
$10
Jack.
less than.
Thank you. Great answer.
I only
You have
see
it here, it's
$10.
in the stack.
It's in the packet.
All right.
and it's
Yeah, you'll
hard.
see this Office of the Superintendent of Schools, Freetown-Lakeville Regional
Okay.
Schools.
So I
can
have
do
to
it.
find it.
I'm sorry, I'll go for it.
It's right here.
Yep, so it's currently it's $40 per participant.
That's what I was.
Okay, yeah, the increase would be to 50.
I was sticking to the slides.
Understood. Any other questions about that? Yes?
Yeah, I'm going to assume that the senior citizens breakfast is not going to be charged for the cafeteria or the kitchen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Bob.
Thank you.
That is always
Do we have
gratis.
that on the calendar, by the way?
Can you hit us with some
Yes,
facts?
but time is, those slots are filling up, so you might want to put it in the
I don't want you
calendar
slipping
sooner
a
rather
bill
than
to
later.
me at the last minute.
There's the Chromebook insurance process. We have developed a Chromebook insurance process we had developed it back in 2020 in order for us to be able to provide repairs and service for Chromebooks as they were being delivered out in a one-to-one environment as we moved into, as a result of the closure in COVID in 2020. We've maintained the use of those Chromebooks. We have, you can look at the packet in terms of what the insurance plan looks like. Essentially what we're asking, and this is a first read as well, is that we would not be changing the cost of the insurance, which currently is $30 for a family with a single student and $50 for a family with multiple students, whether that be two or more. However, what we are looking into is proposing to create a coverage cap So a coverage cap of $100 for a single student and $175 for a family with multiple students. So this would mean if we had a Chromebook came in and one repair came in over $100 for the insurance for $30, the cost of the cap would cover the first $100. The family would be responsible over that $100. This is less about that, but that is a part of it, simply because what we're finding is, of course, the cost of parts has increased. You'll see in your packet what the new cost of those parts are. But in addition to that, we have instances where we have multiple breakages over a year, and a $30 or even a $50 insurance policy doesn't quite cover that. So a cap, we were looking at it as it's affecting those in specific instances, but not affecting a person who goes through their year and have no issues. Yeah.
And if I could, through the chair, two things. I'd like to acknowledge that Ryan Blanchard is here tonight, Director of Technology, in case we had any questions regarding this and later on with the AI policy. And I am aware that this is an initial review of this evening. However, this insurance is optional, so it's not a policy or it's not anything like that. And school does start in 2 weeks on September 2nd. So I would ask the committee to consider voting this change this evening, although it's an initial read, so that we could begin the school year with the new policy, with the new optional insurance information for families. Other than that, we would really be waiting a whole other year again. We're not looking to, if we did this at the meeting in September, we're not then going to be handing this out in October. So if the committee would consider taking a vote on this tonight, it would be appreciated. If not, we understand.
We don't have that under our action items. So do you want to take a vote for that now?
We
Well,
could,
first of all, I'd like to ask Ryan,
Yep.
what did you see for damages this year? Did we have a substantial amount of damages last year? Sorry.
So just to give you, some numbers, for example, so when we collected the senior Chromebooks this year, we had 50% for 170 students. But that could be like little things.
Right.
It could be from minor to little things, maybe things that were reported. The tech team has been working since May, and we're still working to go through all the damage, purchasing parts, and shuffling things around to get devices ready for students coming back. So I would say breakage has definitely gone up. We do take into fact that the Chromebooks are aging, so, with that, plastics and those types of things do get a little more brittle and stuff. And I think the biggest thing, we just have to make sure that our students are handling them properly, right? Not picking them up from the thing, making sure that they're keeping them in their cases and so forth. But damage has definitely gone up significantly since I started 5 years ago. So this would definitely help with the cap, and this would also help with, sometimes you have somebody that puts in an incident for 3-4 breaks. This will kind of stop that so we can recoup some of that money. These Chromebooks and keep them going. One of the things that we're going to run up against is that the devices can go for 10 years, but physically they're not going to last 10 years.
Right.
So we're trying to, make these last as long as possible. Repairing these things, it's like a junkyard after the team. They're literally pulling things apart and trying to make things work.
Okay.
Through the chair, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So say the same kid comes in and it's 5 times we've broken this and we keep going. At any point, do we just say, hey, you're cut off?
At some point we do, right? There was an incident I can talk about. There was a student broke a screen. We covered it, had insurance. And about a month and a half later, same student again came back. We're like, all right, maybe is it an accident based on what was being reported? Third time came back, and then we got emailed from the parent, and the parent said, I have insurance. And I was like, well, this is the third time. I would say this is not really taking care of the homework. So we did charge for that. But this kind of helps us with the cap, recouping some of that money. It also, I feel that we spelt it out a little bit more clearer in the insurance policy. So we're telling you it's annual. Like some people think they buy it and it's only once, and then they're done. So we're saying it's annual. We're saying it's per student, per device, those type of things. And if you look at the insurance policy, it's spelled out a couple times through that policy. So we're hoping that if you do read it, that you're getting, at least at the beginning, there's a little bit more, you know, to it in the beginning versus it was mixed into the old policy, but the written up of the insurance.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
This might be a random question, and I apologize if it's in the packet. Do we provide the protective cases when we issue the Chromebooks?
We started with protective cases last summer. We did the 5th grade and we did 9th grade.
And there's no way to tell if that helps or,
It's hard to say because sometimes the kids would take those cases off, unfortunately.
Right.
We've had devices come back in with no case on them. So then you're like, did you break it, taking the case off? Because the cases are very hard to get off of those, so sometimes we don't want to
Yeah.
damage the cases, damage the LCD. So it's hard to tell. And the bags, kids hand them out. You get the lower levels they use, but not at high school.
yeah. And you clearly recommend this as an option. And it is optional.
It's optional, and again, it's not it's necessarily a school committee policy. It is an insurance
Yeah.
policy, and it falls under your purview because you would, you're acknowledging that families could potentially be paying this. So I leave it to you. So we could take it up with the votes later if you want to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And does the same student keep the same Chromebook year after year, or does it get recycled and a different student gets that
So
one?
initially, what was happening is they would get Chromebooks at the intermediate school, and they'd go to the middle school, they would then get a different set of Chromebooks, and then they'd go to the high school. So as we've been buying these, what we've been trying to do is that we give them 4th grade, and then we're trying to keep that device with the student.
Okay.
We're not quite there yet. We're more or less just all the way up until 8th grade, and then they're getting a new device freshman year. We're hoping, because the devices have solars and traveling with the students, we're going to try to keep those with the students. So like if there is something that gets missed or isn't repaired, that student will get that same device versus if my team misses something, we don't want to give a device back to a student that maybe has, imperfection or a damage that was missed in taking inspection.
And wasn't their fault?
That's correct.
Okay, good.
We've been doing a lot of pictures, we've done a lot this year, taking pictures of all the damage. So when a bill goes out or a parent has questions, we can identify if this was what was broken, and if they want to question it, we can show them.
Okay.
The aging just makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like the insurance should be on a scale, but it's optional. But the aging of the Chromebooks, it's inevitable. Yeah, I can get behind
Okay.
the optional.
Thank you.
Jack has one more thing
I
under
do.
his,
If you recall, last year, about mid-year, we talked
things.
about,
surplus.
yes, thank you. We had two, last year about mid-year, as we go through the process of analyzing and cleaning up the financials within the district, we identify those revolving fund accounts that have become defunct or aged out, and we often need to repurpose them. I think we talked about this last year with a number of grants. As we get awarded new grants, it's useful for us to be able to put them into their own revolving account so that we can track them. It's just a little easier than, we do have a miscellaneous grants revolving account, and those are for things typically when they're going to be a small grant, maybe from an local arts council, for a small amount of money that's coming in, it's going to be spent right away. It's not necessary to use a fund account for that, but for, as Terry mentioned, a number of things coming in, particularly with history as well as with Project Lead the Way, as well as this domestic water grant. These are things that can be not only in the current year, but potentially there's going to be money coming in future years. So being able to create a fund that we'll be able to track year over year it just makes things easier. So it is I'm going to be asking for the district or for the school committee to vote to make these numbers available to the business office. And then finally, you have a list, two lists actually, for to vote for surplus. The first is items that are from Assawamsett Elementary School. One is a broken desk. It's an old teacher desk that is beyond repair, and one is an old bookshelf, a classroom bookshelf that is again beyond repair. These will be things that will likely get thrown away, but we obviously will need to surplus them before we do that. And then in the case of Grace, the intermediate school, they have several obsolete overhead projectors. You may recall overhead projectors. Some of you might recall them, some of you might not, depending on your time in school. But there are 24 overhead projectors that have no current use, and they are, we are asking for you to vote them surplus.
Move to approve that.
Not yet. We're doing it in the votes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't see it down there.
That's okay. You've given so much information tonight,
I
Bob.
remember.
We're gonna let it go.
Yes.
It was the senior moment.
Yeah, you would too.
I do too.
Yeah, I actually, in fact, do too. Mine didn't have candles, though.
You'll pay for that.
Student services.
All right, I'm going to start with extended school year, ESY. So just kind of for informational purposes, extended school year is recommended for students where we have data to suggest that after breaks such as the winter break, February break, April break, that they're showing regression with that amount of time off, and that would lend to make us believe that if they were off for over 2 months, that they would have significant regression and they would not be able to recoup that within an average amount of time coming back to school. So this year, we had 137 students recommended by their special education teams for extended school year, and 93 attended, which was 68% of those students. That was an 8% increase in attendance from last year, so that was really important because we do feel that these students require these services and encourage families, but if families have other plans, that's okay too. It's really not about the amount of students that come, it's about the percentage that participate. So we were happy with that 8% increase this year. We had a good mix combination of internal and external staff not from our district that applied and serviced our students. And they were all amazing. I mean, you wouldn't tell, and people that had walked around and saw the rooms, you wouldn't know who was part of our district and who wasn't. And we have some external people that beg to come back every year because they absolutely love teaching ESY in our district. It's great to see. I've already had a teacher that taught one of our elementary programs be like, I'm in for next year, right? I'm like, well, you need to apply. It's a kind of a process, but they're amazing, and I love having them come back and help us every year if we need that help. So that was positive, and I just really want to acknowledge Jennifer Seberg, who keeps that boat running. Like, she is the underground for ESY, and it's successful because of her. I'm just going to be honest about that. And then after that, I just have my special education administrative structure for this year that I just wanted to go over. I did mention it at the end of last year. So at Apponequet Regional High School, I have Justin Smith. He came into us July 1. And he was previously for the Fall River Public School Department across 2 middle schools as a special ed administrator. And prior to that, he was the director at Reed's Academy for the secondary program. So he's got some really great experience. He's hit the ground running. You'd think he'd been here for years. And Noelle Romeo is the school psychologist that was hired last year to do all of the testing, but also to team chair some meetings at the high school, as well as she does all of our evaluations for our out-of-district students. So she's traveling, she's on the road, and she's moving, and she's driving sometimes over an hour away to evaluate students. So huge win for us there at the high school. Middle school, Justin is also at the middle school, and Dr. Clancy remains at the middle school. At Grays, I have this year, I'll be taking over as the administrator covering Grays this year. And Craig Mugford is still the school psychologist at Grays. The reason I did that is I'm really looking at consistency of practice across Assawamsett and Freetown Elementary School, and Meredith Foy has been placed for now, this is going on her 3rd year of exclusively being at Freetown, and looking at the numbers at Assawamsett, I really felt, and I think the team really agreed, that we should have a special ed administrator at Assawamsett full-time. So I'm taking Grace over because it's on campus, it's 2 grade levels, and I just think that's what's best for the district as a whole. So I will be there 2 days a week. And then, as I said, we've got Donna Hillary at Assawamsett with Craig Mugford, and we have Meredith Foy at FES with the preschool and K-3, and Karen Kent is the school psychologist there. She's the only one there because she's also doing a lot of the preschool work and the transition planning meetings for incoming kids from early intervention. So that's a little bit of a heavier load for her. So that's my administrative structure. Any questions on that? CPAC this year, so I met with both Gail Trink and Amy Masso in July, and we had kind of a planning meeting for the upcoming school year. They were both voted as co-chairs once again for the second year in a row. Jessica Allerhead was voted as treasurer, and secretary was voted as Melinda Hernandez. So they have a full board this year. Last year, I think the treasury position had been open. They hadn't filled that one, so we have the full board this year. The first meeting is going to be September 9th. And it's going to be the first Tuesday of each month, except for November due to voting. That will shift to the Monday. And the first meeting is going to be an introduction to district leadership. So the special ed team will be there, as well as Dr. Starkey, to introduce ourselves, and so people can be familiar. And then we worked and did an agenda set for the entire year. So our agenda is set from September through June. Speakers that we want to have, focuses that we want to have, and they range from preschool all the way to transition. So it's really going to cover a broad range across the district. So I'm excited about that. And
Great job, Kelly.
yeah, the team's very
Blown away.
committed.
Good job.
And we'll be posting that. But I did work with Tech, and Ryan Economo has updated the website. So all of the meetings for the upcoming year are on the website, and the new board for CPAC is updated on the website. So that's all set. And then I guess this is my most exciting piece, is we have developed a life suite, which is a mock apartment at the high school for our students in our life skills classrooms. And so it is right next to our healthy living kitchen. So now we have the kitchen that also has a washer and dryer, which Greg Goodwin just replaced. So we have a new washer dryer combo, and he's also replaced 2 ranges in the kitchen. So that's really exciting news. Right next to it is going to be a mock bedroom with a bed, a dresser, that type of thing, a little seating area, a dining room table and chairs, and all the setup. And we also want the students to have voice. So what we're doing is we're having them pick out the decor for the walls, going to pick out artwork, looking online, voting as students, going to the store, shopping for those items, things like that. So that we've done the big stuff, which we're going to ask for a vote for some of those items to be donated today. But they are really going to have that autonomy to help design what their apartment space is going to look like. And so they're going to work on tasks. We have clothes, all brand new. I bought them. They're not used clothes. They're going to be folding, sorting, putting them in the drawers, washing, drying, that type of thing. They have towels and face cloths and things like that. They're going to be folding and figuring out where they go, hanging clothes, putting them on racks, all of those life skill things that they're going to work on. So we're going to be doing that in combination with our community experiences, and I think it's going to be a really great addition to the high school this year. So we're just going to have a vote for those items, which will include Mr. Higgins here donating a bed, box spring, and mattress. Justin Smith, the secondary administrator, has donated a dresser, and Rachel Hayes, who's the teacher, donated a dining room table and 4 chairs. So we just want to accept those donations. And then for the healthy living, we have a refrigerator and a freezer from Cliff Rose at C&R Appliance to replace our defunct refrigerator and freezer. So those are the things we'd like to vote on tonight as well.
Excellent job, Kelly.
Any questions?
Life skills are great.
If I could.
Outstanding.
If I
Excellent.
could, through the chair, I'd like to recognize that also the Department of Student Services with Kelly, they are taking in nursing this year. So we've moved the nursing department into student services. So Kelly's department will oversee nursing throughout the district. So we should acknowledge that additional work in their department. And then also, I'd like to recognize Kelly for taking over a role at Grace in addition to her
Yes.
position here in the district. And certainly putting the district first and the district needs and student needs first. So thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Do we have any questions? Any questions for Kelly?
I do. Kelly, who's the teacher of the life skills class?
Well, I have the transition class, and then I have the life skills, the 9 to 12 class. So are you talking about transition or
No,
the other
just
classroom?
life skills.
So we are in the process of onboarding someone right now. I just don't want to speak out until all the paperwork is complete, but we do have a teacher that is coming on board and has a lot of experience, and I'm excited about that. So I'll be able to announce all those names at the next meeting. I just want to wait till the ink is dry before I record.
Are we getting somebody new for transition as well, or?
Nope, that's still the same.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, didn't C&R Appliance donate the washer and dryer?
Greg had said that was purchased, so that wasn't a
Okay.
donation to vote on.
Thank you.
I got pull over there.
I'm gonna knock on your door. If you've got anything next time, I'll come find you.
And then just a last quick thing through the chair. In addition to Jumpstart and ESY, we had campus programs running this summer. Diane Sapiga organizes that, so we had a number of kids taking part in that program. And then, of course, we had Kids Cafe, highly successful program run by Lisa Pacheco. I've heard nothing but great things from parents regarding that program. And Lisa and Diane will be here at a meeting coming up to talk about their programs and share some pictures and experiences that both the staff and the students had. But I want to recognize both of their very successful programs this summer.
Great.
Great. Okay, if there's no more questions, we'll move on to item number 5. Okay, school committee, subcommittee, and district committee updates. Or reports. Regional Finance Committee.
Next meeting's in November.
Intern Superintendent Evaluation Committee.
We had a great presentation of the goals tonight. We look forward to evidence and taking us through the formative process this fall.
Wellness and Health Committee. I don't think we have any updates. I don't think we've had a meeting for that. Policy Committee regarding AI policy specifically.
We have the final vote tonight. We introduced the AI policy at a meeting in the spring, and then we had a discussion at a follow-up meeting, and then this would be the third step in the process, which is in line with our own policy to make policy changes, so.
Great. Okay, Capital Committee.
Nothing to report.
Okay, and Pool Committee.
So I probably want to refer to the policy subcommittee maybe on the formation of it, because I'm under the impression that it's been formed properly. But we had an initial meeting last week, a quick introductory, so we introduced ourselves. But we are full. It did take the majority of the summer to get all of our members in line and find them. We've established a date for our own subcommittee walkthrough, now that the engineering study walkthrough has been done. Hopefully, we will get a timeline soon, pending cyber security updates. And we have a couple of dates lined up already to continue to meet, so we can all stay on the same page. At the next meeting, we will be establishing the charge or the mission of the subcommittee, so we're all on the same page, but we felt it was proper to do that in person at our meeting when we do the walkthrough. So we have the 7 committee members all on the same page at the moment. I'd like to thank Jack for his time also coordinating the engineering study. That was huge. And when we do our walkthrough, Greg will be there with us as well to share probably some of the similar things he had shared last week with the engineering folks.
Okay. So the only thing I'm going to ask for is, based off of Ms. French's comments, that we look a little bit more into that and just make sure that our committee is set. Go ahead.
Everybody was supposed to, and it comes out to, I think, our subcommittees are on the same as the pool subcommittees. We're all supposed to be sworn in our towns to be on subcommittees.
Okay.
So this is new to me.
Okay.
But yes, I thought it was going to be advisory committee for the pool subcommittee, but apparently, according to the law, if you're on a subcommittee, you have to do it exactly the way we're sworn in as committee members.
Okay. So I think some of your subcommittee members have been sworn in because they're already part of the town, correct? So we just.
Well, no, we have to be sworn in as
A
separate.
Okay.
It has to be done completely separate. So, yes.
Can I ask a question? Maybe we need clarification on who's the appointing authority, because if it's the district's subcommittee, aren't we appointing the people to the subcommittee and not the towns? I'm not saying people don't need to be appointed. I'm just saying,
good point.
I don't know, I think maybe we should get clarification on if it's the district appointing them to our own subcommittee or the town's appointing them to the district subcommittee. I don't know.
I don't know how much power we have as a committee. I think that would be something that we would have to look at and ask the town clerks who are very familiar with the laws.
Okay.
Because, and I just say that because, every time we have a meeting now, if it's regional FinCom, does everybody have to be sworn into regional FinCom? Does that mean we're going to have to do every single meeting over again? You know what I mean?
So I'm wondering if it's because we took people from the community.
That could be it as well.
You know what I mean? Versus it's just not people within our own committee. We actually took people. So let's talk to Cheryl and see what we can find out as far as what we need to do, because I certainly don't want to put all this work in and find out that
Right.
it didn't matter.
Right, it didn't matter.
So let's go ahead and get that information from each one of the town clerks and get that taken care of properly. Tim, did you have something to add to that too?
No, Courtney had her hand up, but
Okay.
You can go.
I think no, not anymore. I don't.
Okay.
What? You pointed at me.
You clarified it for me.
Oh, okay. No, like I said, I just want us to all be clear and not all of a
absolutely.
sudden, one day, we all get, open meeting law violations because then this happened and that happened and we had a meeting and then, we have to do it all over again.
Yep.
So it'd just be good to find out now.
Yeah.
Steve, are you raising your hand to do it? Go ahead.
No, I'm not swearing in. I think Courtney brings up a good point. I mean, in my opinion, this would be precedent setting. I do whatever. I'm not going to expand on my opinion. But is Miss French on the pool committee?
She is not.
She is not.
She's not.
No.
Okay.
I have a question
Courtney's
that's not
dying.
related to appointing authority. The mission of the pool subcommittee, I personally believe that this committee should be setting the mission. We formed it.
It's actually the chair of the school committee who has to
Yeah.
set the goal. Not us, it is the chair. So there you go.
Okay.
Great.
So we'll get a mission together, and we will also find out if, that's the right way that we have to do it, or if it is a district situation, we don't have to do that. So let's get some clarity on that.
Yeah.
And Tim, I can help you work on that too.
And somewhere in there, we'll get an answer on the pool. And not lost
in all of the other stuff.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for all those updates. Do we have any discussion items tonight? Seeing none, we're going to move right over to our action items, which are our votes. So, number one, I will entertain a motion to approve the TREC donation. That's going to be a majority vote.
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion passes. I'm going to sing it at the end, okay, just for you. Okay, our next item is to approve the updated FES and AES 2025-2026 student school handbooks. Again, this is a majority vote.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, you guys are on a roll here on a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Again, motion passes. Okay, number 3, we're going to vote to accept domestic water grant. Again, it's a majority vote.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, a vote to declare surplus items, as Jack had said, which is one broken desk.
You can skip one.
We skipped.
Oh, I
Fund
did?
account.
Oh, shame on me.
D.
Okay, sorry about that. Vote to accept repurpose fund account number, okay. Vote to repurpose the fund account numbers. Majority vote on this one as well.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're going to vote to declare the surplus items that Jack spoke of earlier, which is 1 broken desk, 2 broken bookshelves, and 24 overhead projectors.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, switching it up a little bit. I have a motion and a second.
Take
Do we have
that.
any discussion? Renee was just ready to keep writing. Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion on this? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, vote to accept donated items for ARHS program apartment, which is awesome. Majority vote on this one as well.
So moved.
Second.
Ooh.
All right.
We have stereo.
Okay, we have,
All right.
we have a
Waking
motion
up
and a
here.
second. Any discussions?
No discussion, just thank you to the donors for their generous
Yes.
donations.
Absolutely.
We'll send them cards back. Yours is in the mail.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes. Okay, moving on to vote to approve the AI policy. Again, a majority vote.
So, second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, motion passes.
Through the chair, would you like to talk about a potential motion related to the optional Chromebook insurance policy?
Yes, I had that after the next two, but yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the optional insurance for the Chromebooks.
So moved.
Okay. So moved.
Oh, Steve's still, yeah. We had a second,
We had
right?
a second.
We had a motion and we have a second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, vote to approve payroll vendor warrants from 6/25/25, 6/30/25, 7/9/25, 7/23/25, 8/6/25.
So moved. Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second. Any discussion on these? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Vote to approve regular session minutes of 6/11/2025.
So moved.
Second.
Great. Hearing a motion and a second, is there any discussion on this? Seeing
Can I-
none. Oh, go.
No, I had a question,
Sorry.
because I don't think I had these in my packet when it was emailed to me.
You did not.
And I haven't had a chance to review these. So,
I had forgotten to add them in when I had the whole packet together.
yeah. So they weren't in our.
So shall we table?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I would
Okay.
take
You
the
have a
motion.
motion and you have a
Yep.
second.
So I would withdraw the motion.
So then we have to withdraw the motion,
I withdraw my motion.
okay?
I will draw the second. So I'll make a motion to table to the next meeting, so
Okay.
that we can review them.
Hearing a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Oh, sorry, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes, aye. Okay, I will now, seeing, well, I can't look at that clock, 'cause they're all wrong. 8:01, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.